happiness that we experience now, that didn't even exist 200 years ago.
Right.
We just recently in the 19th century came into this idea of happiness. You know, the idea of you and me picking who we married, that didn't even exist. People read Romeo and Juliet and they're like, oh my God, it's a love story. It's not a fucking love story. The point of the book is how stupid these kids were to get themselves killed because they were told who to marry, and getting married to who you want to get married to is a folly. That was William Shakespeare's point, and we read it today in the 20th century and we're like, oh, well,
we
obviously
just twist and turn it.
We misinterpret it to think that it's a love story. It's so crazy. So like this whole thing that we experience, again, we have 100 years of choosing who we marry. We have 20 years, maybe a little less than 20 years of social media, 300,000 years of evolution, and we're trying to compete, and we're just like, oh, you know what? I should act this way because I saw something on social media. Mm-hmm. Or the reason why men act this way is because social media keeps putting these female figures in front. No, man. We came with a certain amount of programming in us, and then we have certain preferences on top of that. But anyway, sorry, I just keep going to this rabbit hole because I listened to your podcast and I love them so much. And like, there were so many times when you were asking questions, and I was like, I got the answer.
You're like,
I got the answer. And I can tell you why. I can give you 6 books. And some people don't want that. Some people just want to like keep going in this rabbit hole. Like you said,
but that's when you get in that toxic loop. And that's what I tell people all the time. Like, when are you going to be done talking about this and actually start understanding like why you're experiencing this so you can move forward? Because I was like, Krystyna, how did you get better so quickly? How did this? How did that? Because I was in a really fucked up place.
Right.
I really was. Like, how are you sitting here like this now? And I'm like, because I stopped trying to dive down this path of just being a victim and trying to understand why something happened to me and just understand what I need to do now.
Yeah.
And that literally shot up my growth. And I'm not trying to put myself on the pedestal. That'll shoot up anybody's growth.
For sure.
Anybody's.
And you had gratitude for the situation.
I wake up thankful every fucking day because I am not depressed anymore. And I can't tell you what that's like because I thought there was going to be, I would have days where I didn't think I was ever going to feel better.
Right.
Ever again. And that was inside my relationship and after.
Yeah.
But I started practicing a lot of gratitude. I started listening to a lot of Joe Dispenza. And I started really trying to like figure out how I can rewire my thought processes so that I can live the best life I possibly can. And it changed everything.
Did you ever have a feeling where like you're kind of in crisis mode for a period of time and then your body just kind of gives up?
Yes.
And
almost a year.
So Jamie Lynn.
It was like fight or flight mode.
Jamie Lynn, who was on here a couple of weeks ago, I was at a party with her and she was telling me this. She's like, your body can only be in crisis mode for so long, and then it just stops being in crisis mode. Like you just, I guess, is it the renal glands that produce cortisol, the stress hormone? Mm-hmm. You can only produce so much, and then your body physically can't produce any more stress hormone, and then that's when you hit rock bottom and you open up the power of now. It's kind of like when you hit that point. Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
Yeah. And I didn't actually realize I was experiencing it until like after. Mm-hmm. Then I started realizing like, oh my God, I've been in this place for so long. And then it became scary because I'm like, how was I operating like this? And I started realizing how much I was like blocking out.
Yeah.
Just to survive, and not survive like physically, but like mentally. Like I was so stagnant because I was so stuck in my own head, and my cortisol levels were through the fucking roof. I couldn't even my coach was like, your body isn't progressing. And this is the reason why you're falling off your preps. This is back in 2019. Because your body is so stressed, but he obviously didn't know what was going on with me.
Yeah.
I wasn't open about talking about those kinds of things. And he's like, we got to figure out what's going on.
No, I told my trainer, I straight up told my trainer, I was like, hey man, I'm just telling you, I'm going through a breakup right now.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to, cause it's hard to eat.
Oh my God.
So I couldn't keep the protein. I couldn't get enough protein.
Well, and also stress makes your body bloat, and it makes it has a lot of inflammation. Inflammation can lead to disease. That's why they say stress kills. It can lead to a lot of like chronic issues. And I was experiencing all of them.
Yeah.
And it was just funny, like not funny, but when you take yourself out of environments, how you can start to get better and you can start to heal yourself from the inside out. And
do you have positive triggers like dogs, ice cream, dubstep, anything like that?
I have lots of them now too, because I mean, I never used to be a morning person. I'm awake every morning to see the sunrise because it is like the best part of
really?
my day. Mm-hmm. And
I see the sunrise too, but it's not when I'm waking up.
I know. Well, I don't know what it was, but there was something that I started. Actually, it was probably on one of Joe's podcasts. He talks about like how when you're a little kid and you're so excited to go to Disneyland and you can't sleep the night before because you're so fucking excited. And it's not just because of Disneyland. You're excited about this like experience you're going to have the next day, because it's so magical and you don't know what you're about to go into, and there's endless possibilities. But as you become an adult, you get so jaded and you're like, oh fuck, tomorrow I have to go to work and my boss is going to be like this and so is going to vent on me and whatever, and you stop looking forward to it. So you don't want to get up. You want to hit snooze a million times just to like stay asleep. But if we can adopt those mentalities that, okay, tomorrow is a new day for something like really exciting to happen, maybe we can start rewiring. And he goes on and on and on about it. I'd probably butcher it trying to like regurgitate what he says, but something hit home for me, and I started practicing gratitude in the morning and waking up at sunrise and feeling like those quiet, still magical moments and wanting to change my life.